Sister Amazons and Witches. I'm Lori the Witchcrafter. Welcome back to another episode of the Year and a Day study in the Amazon tradition. Today we're going to focus on making incense. It's a spring craft that we do. And if you haven't already started, you might want to work on your air card because incense does honor the air. So today we're going to craft 3 different kinds of incense. We're going to craft little cone hand formed little cone incense. We're going to hand dip some stick incense, and we're going to make some loose incense that can be burned over little charcoal tablets. So let's head on over to the work table and get started. Okay, so here's 3 different types of incense. We've got the sticks, we've got the cones, and we've got some loose incense there that you would throw onto charcoal. And these are all the supplies that I use. Back here we have jars of Mako in 4 different colors. I use those 4 different colors for seasonal incense. We have jars of herbs ready to be mixed into the loose incense. Here we have a bottle of DPG, which is a de-smoking agent that you put in to the stick mixture. Bottles of fragrance oil. Got 4 different fragrances there for the 4 seasons. Got little jars of resin that I'll powder and throw in. We've got our mortar and pestle for the grinding, little cauldron mixing bowl here. This is a batch of unscented incense sticks and the tray and drying rack that I use. So we'll take a minute and clear the table here, and then we'll get started. Okay, so first we're going to start with the really easy one, which is doing sticks. So here's the bundle of unscented sticks. Just cut them apart. And I use a regular old shot glass to measure out 1 part DPG, which I get from Wellington Fragrance. And then this is some wood sage and sea salt. Again, from Wellington. But I'm thinking of honoring the season of water with this incense. So I'm really looking for that sea salt fragrance. That should have been 2 parts fragrance to 1 part DPG. It's a little shy, but that's okay. It still smells wonderful. Set these empty bottles aside. Then I just take a couple of sticks and go pan down, mix up the oils. That DPG makes a good carrier, plus it's a de-smoker for the sticks. Okay, and then you just lay your sticks in. roll them through the oil. What I'm doing now is just making sure that every stick is fully coated and it's soaking into the stick itself. And that's looking really good. Roll them out and make sure I've gotten all of them thoroughly covered and soaked in. And I'm going to put my rack in the pan. And let them drip. So throughout the day I will, continue to roll them around and help them drain. It'll take about 24 hours, but then they should be ready to package up, and I package them up in bundles of 20. These are bundles of 100 sticks, so I'll get quite a few batches out of that. Okay, I'm going to go clean up now. Okay, now we'll make some loose incense. So, got my mortar and pestle. I'm going to use some herbs here. I'm going to take a teaspoon of each. With some jasmine flower. Now we've got some lavender flower. I'm thinking specifically of honoring the spring with this loose incense. I think this is the recipe that's in my book. I've got some lemongrass here. Some lemon verbena. Some meadowsweet to honor the maiden. Some mugwort. I'm going to give those a good grind. I should show you what they look like before we get done with them. This can take a while. And the other thing you can do is use, a little food processor, one of those really small ones, or a coffee grinder even. I like to try to do it with the mortar and pestle. It just makes me feel a little more authentic. But I'll tell you what, if they give me a hard time, they're going right in the food processor. Okay, that's how we're coming along. And I'll tell you what, that lemongrass is giving me some problems. The rest of the flowers and herbs powdered up pretty nicely, but that lemongrass is tough stuff. So I'm going to take a little break and throw it in my little food processor that I keep just for magical purposes. I'll be right back. So here's my little food grinder. Put that in. And here we go. Okay. Oh man, that smells wonderful. Beautiful. Okay, then I'm going to put in a teaspoon of mako, the yellow mako, and I make it yellow because we're trying to honor the spring with this incense. It gives us a nice, let me go ahead and put one, so that'll be 2 teaspoons of that. That's beautiful. And that's our loose incense. And you just put that in a little baggie or a little jar and have it ready to go to honor the spring. You can also, you could very easily throw in a little, in fact, let's do that. Let's use some amber resin. Just happen to have a little dusted up right here. Sprinkle that in. That'll carry the smell just beautifully. Yeah, a little amber resin. What else could we put in it? Let's just go over the top. We could put in say a few drops of pomegranate fragrance oil. That would be lovely for the spring. Thinking about Persephone. Not too much because we don't want to overload it with the fragrance oil. We do want to let the resins and the herbs come through as they heat up on the charcoal. And beautiful. I'm going to call that good. I wish you could smell it. Getting hints of the lemongrass, hints of the lavender, and of course the pomegranate that we just put in. Now you won't be able to smell the amber until it actually melts on the coals, but that'll add another layer of fragrance to it. Okay, so we're all set up to make some cone incense. We're going to be using brown mako, a little bit of Mother Earth fragrance oil from Wellington, a little frankincense and myrrh, and this is powdered allspice. I dried the leaves off of my allspice tree and ground them up, and they're going to become the binding agent for our incense, or cone incense, to honor the earth come Yule. So I'm going to start with about 1 large tablespoon of the brown Mako. Again, that just helps it burn and it carries fragrance as well. I'm going to use 2 heaping tablespoons of the ground up allspice leaves. And I'm going to use about, 4 or 5 drops of the Mother Earth oil, fragrance oil. And let's see, about a quarter teaspoon of ground up frankincense and myrrh. Maybe I'll throw in a full teaspoon. That's always a scent I associate with Yule, the winter holidays. Okay. And then we need some water, which I forgot, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I put some water in my mortar, and I'm going to start by using the half a teaspoon. You want to go easy with the water and mix as you go. So if you put too much water in, it'll take forever to dry. And it'll be so soggy it'll want to fall apart on you. And you keep working it around and working it around. Okay, we're back. My battery died on the camera, so I had to step away and change it. And then after I set it up, I decided to put more water in, some more oil, and I've poured in the rest of my allspice powder. Put a little more resin in, a little more oil. Now I've got it to the consistency that I can work with. This one turned out fairly wet. We'll see how it goes. So you just take a little bit in your hand. You just begin to work it around in your palm. We're squishing out some of the water, I'm squishing it pretty hard because I really want it to hold together. I tell you, my last batch didn't hold together. It was just real dry and powdery and didn't hold its form very well. So yeah, that was last year when I made it. This year, we'll see. That's the other thing I want to encourage you to do is just try. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Even those of us who've been doing it for a while, sometimes just things don't work and you scrap it and you start over. Remember, there's no such thing as perfect. Perfect is a man-made concept. Those look pretty good. I feel like they're going to hold together fairly well. I'm going to have enough here to make several cones. All right, so there we go. All of our little incense cones to honor the earth come next Yule. So that's it for now. You all have a blessed day and keep on witchcrafting.